Hello, what up YouTube, and welcome to my Green Day Discography review. This is part 2 of the 2000s. If you missed part 1, the 90s, and the year 89, click the door fedora. It's a magical fedora, takes you to magical places. In that part, I talk about a lot of stuff at kind of a fast pace. I talk about the albums 1000, 39 Smooth, Slappy, Sweet Children, Kerplunk, Dookie, Insomniac, and Nimrod. In this part, I'm going to be talking about the albums Warning, their B-sides album Shenanigans, their albums American Idiot, and 21st Century Breakdown. This is when Green Day kind of changes it up quite a bit throughout each of their albums. They do a lot of different things, and yeah, I think I'll have a bit more to say than I did in the last part because there's a lot more variety. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying this review. Why don't we go ahead and get started? And the first album they released in the 2000s was called Warning, which was released in 2000, and I was told to listen to this with an open mind by Malbay, but I kind of found it easy to listen to. It's just a little bit more streamlined and not as experimental from Nimrod. They incorporate more acoustics, and I feel they have more of a Celtic vibe on some of these songs, especially in the riffs, like on I think it's Castaway. A couple of the tracks on here kind of have the pacing of like a Celtic punk band without a lot of the Celtic style, if that makes any sense. I dug this album. It wasn't the worst thing they've done. It wasn't my favorite. But I mean, I dug this album. I didn't think it was bad. I think that it's certainly different. My favorite track on here is Minority, which is kind of a different song for them. I mean, the lyrics aren't. I mean, it's kind of it's more just them doing snooty lyrics. But it's a good track. This album shows just a lot more of a very streamlined sound for them, which coming from Nimrod may seem a little shocking. It is a little shocking to me now reflecting on it, but it's not bad. It's certainly not bad. It's just not as impressive as the last release. As a follow-up, this isn't as good. The lyrics seem to want to do more things, like Blood, Sex, and Booze. I mean, these titles alone just seem very different. Warning is kind of a weird contradiction of a song. Like it's I don't know. It's kind of a weird album, to be honest. I mean, it's something you would expect from Green Day, but it's not. I don't know. A lot of the punked out just seems to be taken away from a lot of these songs, and I like I said, I dig it. It's not the worst thing they've done. I think that with the follow-up being what it is, it's definitely interesting, at least album-wise. But, yeah, this album, not bad at all. I dig it quite a bit. Favorite song is Minority. Yeah. Pretty much all I had to say. Let's move on to a B-sides album, shall we? If this looks different, if I look different, that's because I am. This is filmed the day it's posted because I forgot to review this album, and that's why I'm here not to do it. This is their B-sides album Shenanigans, which was released back in 2002, and this is a nice little slice of a variety of Green Day. A lot of the singles on here are from the Warning songs and the Nimrod songs. There's some from Insomniac and some from Dookie, but a lot of it is the B-sides from those singles, and there's a previous unreleased song, Haha, You're Dead, which is a good, faster-paced Green Day song. A lot of the stuff on here is either the mid-tempo or the fast-paced stuff. Some of the tracks on here, though, are kind of surprising, like the track Rotting kind of has this chilled-back beach guitar riff, and On the Wagon kind of has this galloping horse, like an old western kind of vibe to it. At least that's kind of what I got to it. It's like Green Day doing that kind of vibe. There's a couple covers on here. There's a Fang cover, a Green Day cover, and a Kinks cover. The Green Day cover is the best out of the three, in my opinion. You gotta have some really good punked out tracks like Desensitized, which is my favorite track on here. I like that opening with the, I don't know which band member it was, but they were flipping shit, and then it goes into this really good guitar riff. You also have the spy instrumental Espionage, which you use on Austin Powers, and it just kind of has this spy movie feel, and I mean, it's not bad, it's pretty good. But my favorite is definitely Desensitized. Out of the Green Day sounding stuff, that's the best one. The rest is a lot of just what you'd expect from Green Day. Some good Green Day tunes, some solid riffs. The bass line on I think it's Sick of Me. That's one of the later songs on the album. Was really good, and yeah, I dug this. It was a pretty good release. If you want to get some more Green Day for you and you don't have this, pick it up. Got some good shit on here. Let's talk about a Behemoth album now, shall we? And the next album they released was called American Idiot, which was released back in 2004. And listening back to this album, I don't like it as much as I did when it first came out. I used to listen to this album all of the time. It's not bad by any means. I do like this album quite a bit. It's probably my third favorite release they've ever done. Probably, maybe fourth. I don't know. This album just... It doesn't seem to pack a lot of the punch it did on some of these songs. Like, I used to love this song, Are We the Waiting? And now, it's not the worst thing. One of the songs I really did like that I don't like anymore is Giving Novocaine. That song just kind of bothers me now. There are a lot of great tracks on here, in terms of punked outness with American Idiot, and, She's a Rebel, but those moments are kind of few and far between. The two tracks on here that really impress me are the two drawn-out epics of, Jesus of Suburbia / whatever, and Homecoming / whatever. They kind of bridge the story, which I'll get to in a second, but they bridge the stories well within the album, and they kind of incorporate so many elements of Green Day within those tracks alone that it's crazy that they've made tracks like that. Jesus in Suburbia I used to not like. It took me a long while for me to like that track. But Homecoming, I love that track. It might be one of my favorites on here. Maybe it is my favorite. I mean, I like that really big kind of style that song brings, and the story of this album is, I'm still not completely sure as to what it is. I've never really been too investigative with it, which is bad for a reviewer, but it's about some kids that are like, there's a love story in there, and there's this guy St. Jimmy who, like, dies, but he's like this, I don't know, I think he's the anti-politics, he's like an anarchist or something, I don't know. This story is impressive that they've written this concept like this, but I've never really paid too much attention to it when I listen to it, and that might be the sign of a good concept album, but I think that it's a good record. I think this album is good. It's not as good as I used to think it was. Some tracks on here, like I said, kind of annoy me. Holiday, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, and basically the singles annoy me, except for St. Jimmy. St. Jimmy is still one of my favorites of the album. St. Jimmy and Homecoming are my two favorites. St. Jimmy is just another great punked out track by Green Day. But, like, some of the songs in here I'm sick of hearing now, and that could be because it was so big. This album was huge. It still is big. I mean, there's a Broadway show. They're making a movie about it. And I think this was a great album for them to do. It really brought them back into notoriety. And I definitely recommend this album. It is a great album. It's just not as good as I used to think it was, I guess. That might change in the future, but now this album just kind of irks me, looking back and listening to it. Yeah, I think that this album is good. There are some interesting elements on here, like on the last track, What's Her Name, and Extraordinary Girl, are some interesting tracks on here. But I mean, I don't know, it's good, but it's kind of overplayed now. Favorite track, I might have both Homecoming and St. Jimmy down there because they're both great tracks. Now let's go to something I was less than impressed with, shall we? And the next album they released, the last album they released so far, is 21st Century Breakdown, which came out in 2009, I believe. I didn't really like this record. I have so many questions as to how this album really came to be. I get that they were trying to do another American Idiot. It just didn't nail as hard with me. in terms of sound. There's a lot more pianos and just softer vibes to these songs, and it to me it kind of comes really out of left field. I just, this album is just, it's really weird to hear. I thought after hearing this opening song of the century, I'd get something better than this to open it. It feels like they're actually writing for a purpose now, which is good in terms of focused, but I don't like the result. I don't like these piano-driven tracks, and I don't like, the one song in here that really bothers me is Christian's Inferno. That track has this like 80s pop vibe that I really didn't dig. This album doesn't do anything for me. I don't like it at all, really. I have a problem really finding a favorite song. I don't dig the, I don't dig, it's just kind of buried within itself, if that makes any sense. It's buried within its concept, within the story it's trying to tell. It feels like a soundtrack, almost, and I'm kind of annoyed with some of the tracks on here, like 21 Guns. That song annoys the hell out of me, and I don't want that from Green Day. I want great tracks, and I don't get that a lot from a lot of this album. I'm very disappointed with this release. I really am. I'm very disappointed with the style they've gone towards, and I hope that they change it up at least a little bit. Favorite track is probably Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, because that track at least has a bit more mid-tempo Green Day vibe that I'm used to, but it's still a little bit different. I don't know. Green Day, you disappointed me. You really did. That was my Green Day discography review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I know, again, I stress this, I know I seem kind of rushed with this, but I mean, aside from this stuff, they don't change much, and when they change, they either change too much to where I don't like it, or just enough to where I dig it, but I don't know, I like this, but I didn't. Also, this review was requested by a few people. KLM Stars was one of them. There's another one. I think Metallica fan requested this as well. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this review. The ones that that requested this. Yeah, next review is Tech 9. It's coming next Wednesday. Hopefully, again, you guys enjoyed this. You guys have ideas of situations. I will see you another day